This is Standing Watch. And now, Evangelist Norbert Link.
Greetings everyone, and welcome back to our Standing Watch program. I recently received some inquiries regarding a speculation that this world will end in 2017. And of course, there have always been concepts and ideas as to when the world will end, and people have tried to figure it out. This time right now has to do with some kind of a nebulous star constellation. And if you belong to those few people who haven't heard about it yet, because the internet is just full of it, millions upon millions of people are engaging in this kind of conversation, I'd like to briefly summarize to you what is being said. And this is also now taken from the internet. It says that European outlets reported that the solar eclipse in 2017 will plunge countries into darkness and spark the end of the world, which could happen on August 21 or September 23, when the western part of Europe will experience a partial eclipse, while Americans will experience a total eclipse. This will mark the first time in history that an eclipse will be seen coast to coast. Now, these people who believe that this has something to do with the end of the world then refer to an image in Revelation 12. And they say an image will be created in the sky on September 23, copying what is allegedly reported in Revelation 12. It says that Virgo represents the woman in Revelation 12, who will be clothed in sunlight. She will be in a position over the moon and under the 9 stars and 3 planets, 12 altogether. The 9 stars referring to the astrological sign of Leo with 9 stars, and then you have 3 more planets, Venus, Mars, and Mercury. So that's pretty much the concept. And of course, even though the book of Revelation has to be understood in a figurative way, what's being talked about there in Revelation 12 is something which happened more than 2,000 years ago. Again, though, talking about in a figurative and symbolic way, these people who believe this kind of stuff don't even tell us how this constellation would cause the end of the world. But of course, it is nothing to do with the Bible. I can tell you dogmatically that nothing is going to happen in either August or September of 2017 which has anything to do with the end of the world, because the Bible tells you quite differently. Now, Christ talks about the end of the world. The disciples asked him, what is going to be the sign of your coming and the end of the world? And then Christ started to explain what to watch for. And he talked about religious deception. He talked about wars and rumors of wars, earthquakes, pestilence. But he says, it's not the end yet. These are just the beginnings of sorrow. But then he talked about a very important event which hasn't taken place yet. And the Bible talks about that in terms of the Great Tribulation. I'd like to read to you from Matthew chapter 24, verses 21 and 22, which has this to say. For then there will be great tribulation, such as has not been since the beginning of the world, until this time, no, nor ever shall be. And unless those days were shortened, no flesh would be saved alive. But for the elect's sake, those days will be shortened. Now you can also look at other scriptures. Daniel chapter 12 and verse 1 talks about the same event, saying, there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was, since there was a nation, even to that time. This great tribulation, this time of trouble, unparalleled in the history of mankind, is talking about worldwide nuclear war. A nuclear war which could indeed destroy all life on this earth, if God wouldn't intervene to stop it before that happens. But nuclear war is prophesied, my friends, and I know that many don't want to believe this. Others do talk about it, but they talk about it in not the most accurate terms. I have an article here by The Week, written June 20, And it talks about why America is meddling in Syria. And the article says, an all-out nuclear exchange between the United States and Russia is one of the few things that could threaten human extinction. Hundreds of millions, perhaps billions, would be killed in the immediate attack, blowing the world economic system apart and beginning what would probably be several years of nuclear winter, devastating agriculture. People might survive in remote locations, perhaps Australia or New Zealand, but it is not at all guaranteed in such an extreme scenario. It would be the worst disaster in history by several orders of magnitude. Ultimately, a nuclear conflict would be the worst imaginable strategic outcome for both nations, talking about Russia and the United States of America. Now again, we can clearly tell you from the Bible that no nuclear war will happen between America and Russia. But a nuclear war will happen. And America and also the United Kingdom will be the targets of nuclear attacks. But these nuclear attacks will be launched by a power most do not even foresee, don't understand, don't recognize, don't acknowledge. It is going to be a power which will attack the United States of America and Great Britain. And unless Jesus Christ would intervene, no flesh would be saved alive on this planet. But you see, that is a great tribulation. That hasn't started yet. Once it has started, then Christ is telling us, and was telling his disciples, heavenly signs will occur. But notice how he describes those in Matthew 24 and in verse 29. Immediately after the tribulation of those days, the sun will be darkened, and the moon will not give its light, and the stars will fall down from heaven, and the powers of the heavens will be shaken. He is talking about catastrophic events. The stars of heaven will fall down. What is he talking about? Well, let me read to you from an article which was published by CNET on June 9. It says, if a newly discovered group of 10 asteroids makes its way to Earth, the biggest of the fireballs could make a destructive entrance, astronomers warn. The bad news is this newfound orbital structure contains at least 2 asteroids that are nearly 1,000 feet or 300 meters across, and probably more big ones that haven't been spotted yet. If an asteroid 1,000 feet across were to make impact anywhere near a major population center, the results would be catastrophic, to say the least. And Express added on June 11, these asteroids could put life on this planet at risk. On top of the 10 potentially hazardous objects, 97 other space rocks have been identified. You see, this is a real threat. This is, amongst other things, what Christ was talking about. But the point is, my friends, it is going to happen after the Great Tribulation has begun, not before. So that constellation, which people are talking about in 2017, that solar eclipse, has absolutely nothing to do with any prophetic significance. Now, what is going to happen after those heavenly signs have begun? Well, Matthew 24 and verse 30 continues. Then the sign of the Son of Man will appear in heaven, and then all the tribes of the earth will mourn, and they will see the Son of Man coming on the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. So the sequence is, first you got the Great Tribulation, then you got the heavenly signs, and after that, Jesus Christ will return, not before. And that is the same time when this rotten, evil, terribly corrupt world, ruled by Satan the devil, will end, because it is not worth saving. And when Christ returns, he will establish the kingdom of God, the rule of God on the earth. He will bring in a new world, the world tomorrow. That is something, my friends, we can look forward to. Let's not get involved with all these wrong and false signs from heaven against which Christ warned, but let's look at what the Bible tells you as to how the events will unfold, leading to the end of this evil world and the beginning of the new world under the rule of Jesus Christ here on earth. And for further information, I would recommend that you ask for our free booklet, When and How Will Christ Return? And this booklet gives you a lot more information based on the Bible than you might have heard before. So thank you very much for listening and for watching. This is Norbert Link for the Standing Watch program.
Standing Watch is a presentation by The Church of the Eternal God, P.O. Box 270519, San Diego, California 92198. More information is also available at our website, eternalgod.org.